I'm Carrie Peters, a recognized thought leader in the Microsoft Dynamics community and a Microsoft MVP for business applications. Welcome to the Get Your New View podcast. Keep listening to learn how we work with frustrated Business Central and NAV users who struggle to use their system and find the answers that they need. We teach them to truly understand how the system can support their business processes to make immediate and lasting improvements. As a result, they get more done in less time, make better business decisions, and even love their system.
Hey, Cynthia.
Hey, Carrie.
There's something I wanted to talk about today that's been kind of a hot topic lately, and we've gotten a lot of calls and a lot of feedback from users. And it's kind of just making sure that those users can get their bank transactions imported into their bank rec to be able to use that auto-match bank rec. Have you gotten any calls about that?
Yes. And first things first, I want to thank you for calling them bank transactions and not bank statements. Thank you.
Yes, because typically you want to download your bank transactions. So first tip here, not a bank statement. And it's just because we want that transactional view. So really what we're doing is matching bank transactions with Business Central transactions. So
right.
I
but
will
that's
say,
not why you wanted to talk about this though, right?
This is correct. Let me not get off track.
Yeah,
so I do want to talk about how great the assisted setup is with Business Central because it makes it very easy for the end user who might not even know what a data exchange definition is or might not know how to use them. It makes it easy for them to be able to create this import format to be able to import their bank transactions each month. Very minimal steps. You just grab a test file. The assisted setup will walk you through the options, and bam, you have that data exchange definition, that bank import. You can import your transactions monthly. Right. The thing I want to mention is, though this is a really great tool, there are some things to be aware of with it. So this is where I'll hand it over to Cynthia to kind of talk a little bit about what we need to be aware of.
My turn, huh? The hard stuff. You get to talk about the easy stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my first, what the heck was that obviously we have rules when it comes to using the files or the data exchange definitions that are created in Business Central that Business Central doesn't have or apply to themselves. So you mentioned about how easy it is to use the assisted setup. I get that transaction file from the bank. I run it through the assisted setup. I put in my date format, and I can only define a few fields. And I create that file, or I push that file through, I should say, creates my data exchange definition, creates my bank export import, puts it onto my bank account. But I realize that, hey, that check number, document number isn't part of this. And so no problem. I'm going to go to the data exchange definition and I'm going to modify the data exchange definition. Well, guess what happens when I try to do that? I get told that I have to have a field length on my date. Well, excuse me, Microsoft, you created this without a field length. Why are you all of a sudden, just because I want to add a new field, all of a sudden that now has to have that length? Well, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. This is our first tip for you. Just go in there, and so you've got month, / day, / year. And so you get your 10, right? So you put 10 in there and you're okay, you're good to go. But I just thought it was kind of funny that would happen. Now, here's another place that catches you. I like to do all this in the test company. So I do all this work in the test company. So all I need to do is export my data exchange definition and I can import it into my production company.
Sounds like a solid plan.
Nope. Also fails. Because exactly. Also, for anyone who's listening, Carrie did the thumbs down. It's also, you're very kindly told that you cannot import the file because it's missing a data length. So, yeah, just be aware of that.
And keep in mind, too, that as Microsoft receives feedback, they are constantly making improvements because originally we couldn't even modify that data exchange definition. So as they get that feedback, they are making those improvements. So just be aware of that as well. But to add on to what Cynthia said, one of the other things I noticed was in that original assisted setup with your bank transactions, you can leave the date format blank. And basically what that means is in your data exchange definition, it just takes the date as is. This is what I've found.
I know it blows my mind. I had no idea that was possible,
Yeah.
especially since, it's that whole assisted setup. What it's doing is it's reading the format that you have. I have seen where the problem might be that the file you're using has only one digit for the month, right?
And August.
Yeah, I know, but it's interesting because it's like sometimes I've seen that be a problem and sometimes it's not. So I don't know if it's my inconsistency or I'm not realizing it, or I don't know. But when you told me that I could leave it blank, it kind of blew my mind because I was like, oh, well, that would make it easier.
And then I was trying to prove this out to Cynthia because, I have to show her that I'm right, the few times that I am. And I tried to go in and manually modify that data exchange definition to remove the date format. And of course, it didn't let me. So it's in that initial setup that you would need to do that. As of now, you're not able to go back and just remove that date format.
So translated, again, this is a superpower that Microsoft has. We can leave the date blank in the assisted setup, and it will create a valid data exchange definition. However, if we decide that we want to do that, we can't.
Right. And I will say, if you're just using that bank import for the most basic things, you're not going to probably have any of these problems. When you start to get a little bit more into it to add those, fields and whatnot, then you may encounter these problems.
So assisted setup is great. It works 99.9% of the time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Good.
Guess what? If you can handle us for more than 5 minutes, we have a lot more to share with you.
And go to learndynamics.com for on-demand training courses.
There we go.
Did your team ever really get good training to understand how to use your business software? Do you think you could use more features of your software if you just knew how? Are you frustrated with inefficiency that never seems to get better? Do you suspect that there just has to be a better way, but you don't know what that is? We believe every company can benefit from increased efficiency and higher utilization of their software, and that it's possible to have fun while learning exactly how to do that. The experts at NewView Strategies work with frustrated Business Central and NAV users who struggle to use their system and find the answers they need. We teach them to truly understand how the system can support their business processes to make immediate and lasting improvements. As a result, they get more done in less time, make better decisions, and even love their system. Please contact us at getyournewview.com to get started.